Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So as a gaming YouTuber, I spend a lot of time thinking about games. While I'm in the shower, in my sleep, on the toilet, and more often than not, I'm thinking about some indie game that's yet to come out and wondering, man, what is up with this game? So I've been thinking, I have to find some way to get these thoughts out on a video, and this is it. I've compiled a list of 15 indie co-op games that have seemingly ghosted us. Okay, so maybe not like ghosted us, but they're games that don't have firm release dates and we've received very little news or updates on them. But they're great games you should know about, and thanks to this video, you'll be in the know and can tell your friends, oh hey, I've had this one on my radar for a while now. And you know, they'll think you're pretty cool, so you're welcome. Anyways, without further ado, here's 15 indie co-op games to put on your radar. Rotwood is the perfect game to start this list because I honestly think about this game quite a lot. It's a 4-player local and online hack and slash dungeon crawler coming from the team behind Don't Starve. And I mean, come on, this looks incredible. Now, it was originally revealed last summer, with the trailer ending with a graphic that cycled between 2023 and then 2024 before ultimately ending on a question mark. And now we've made it over a year without a single update outside of some playtests conducted on Steam. So yeah, it's anyone's guess when this is coming out, which means Rotwood will continue to live rent-free in my brain. Great. Wildwoods is one of the oldest games on this list, originally revealed back in 2019. It's a 4-player local co-op roguelike game where you play as these little woodland creatures pushing a wagon through the woods. Along the way, you have to gather resources to keep your wagon moving while also protecting it from bandits that come out at night. And yeah, there's a cool day and night cycle mechanic that challenges you to keep the wagon torch lit as it's your only source of light in the dark. There's a lot about this that I think could work really well in co-op, and I think the whole wagon idea is really cool and very unique. We've yet to receive a release window, but the game was playable at PAX East earlier this year, so that tells us the team is at least actively working towards the finish line. Arran: The Book of Heroes is a 5-player co-op online hack and slash game that was announced in September of last year. It's an adventure game that sees you going through a campaign, completing quests, and leveling up your character. It's a simple setup, but I like how there's multiple classes, each with their own character kits. Also, it's nice that it features 5-player co-op, great news for that 5th friend who is usually left out of the team. The news on Arran has been pretty slim. It was slated to release this year according to Steam, but that's probably not happening. If you're interested in the game though, there is a demo up on Steam, so be sure to check that out. Next game on the list is Surmount. Now, most of these games we've obviously not played, so we're just hoping that they turn out well, but Surmount is one we're confident will be a great game since Andrew and I got the chance to play it during Steam Net Fest earlier this year. Surmount is a 2-player local co-op platformer that sees you and a friend climbing a summit. It's a super chill co-op game, but has some nice mechanics to make you work together, like using each other to gain momentum for a big swing. The game was originally announced in November of last year, so we've gone a whole year without a concrete date, but like I said, we did get a demo that was a ton of fun. We're pretty hyped for this one, and you should be too. Odinfall is a game that's set on my wishlist all year, and I've been dying to hear an update on when it's coming out. It's a roguelike twin-stick shooter featuring 2-player online co-op. That's enough to get me interested in a game, but get this, it's set in a retro-futuristic Viking Ragnarok setting? Like what? That's so freaking cool. There's different characters to choose from, each with their own unique abilities, and it seems like there's a system to create your own unique weapons out on a run. Basically, this has all the makings of a game I think Andrew and I would absolutely love. Odinfall was announced earlier this year in March, so I'm not expecting too much news out of it honestly. The Steam page lists the release date as coming soon, but there is a demo out, so go check this one out for yourselves. Another game announced earlier this year is Baladins. This is a 4-player local and online co-op RPG, but this isn't like any old RPG. Baladins has a really cool twist in that it's a choose-your-own adventure game where all your actions shape the outcome of your campaign. As you can tell, it has a really cute art style and it seems like it's trying to be really approachable, which I appreciate. Seems like it could be a great entryway into playing an RPG with friends or loved ones. Like I said, Baladins was originally unveiled in March of this year, so we don't have much news on it, but there is a demo that went live recently if you're keen to check this one out. Lightyear Frontier is one of the more high-profile games on this list, but even though it's an Xbox exclusive, it is an indie game that was originally revealed way back in 2021 during an ID at Xbox Showcase. If you haven't heard of it, this is a really ambitious farming sim featuring 4-player online co-op. Its whole deal is that you use mechs and other machinery, and that it's an open world game too. It looks super cool, and I know I speak for Andrew in saying we've been looking forward to this one. The latest update on the game gave us a really in-depth look at co-op play and also confirmed that it is now slated to release onto early access sometime next year, and it will be coming to Game Pass, which is always a great move for any co-op game. Sentry is a game that's popped up once or twice in our monthly series, and it's one that I'm super stoked to shout out here because you should all have this on your radar. Sentry is a 2-player online co-op tower defense title that sees you and a friend defending your spaceship from an invading threat. You have to work together to place traps and defenses while also debating which rooms to protect in the first place. It has a super slick art style, and if you're already sold on it, then I have some great news. Earlier this month, the team provided an update saying they plan on releasing sometime in early 2024. The game was originally slated to release sometime this year, so I feel confident we'll see that early access launch in the first half of the year, and I couldn't be more hyped for that. 32 years later, Toxic Crusaders is getting a new beat 'em up. Okay, I say that as if I'm a huge Toxic Crusaders fan, but despite being the 90s kid, I've never heard of this thing until now with this new game. Like the great Shredder's Revenge, Toxic Crusaders is a side-scrolling beat 'em up featuring 4-player local and online co-op. It's very similar to Shredder's Revenge, which is great because that game was the bomb. In a cool nod to OG fans, this game will actually act as the Season 2 the original cartoon never received, so I have to imagine that's pretty cool if you're a fan. The game was originally revealed earlier this year, but outside a new demo, we've yet to receive a release window outside of sometime in 2024. Another game that's made the rounds in our monthly series is Aloft. This is an 8-player co-op survival game that was originally revealed back in February of last year. Survival games are a dime a dozen nowadays, but Aloft hopes to break through with its unique Sky Island setting. A number of things have caught my eye with this one. You can make your own skyship, travel the skies on a glider, and the base building looks pretty intricate. The Steam page says it's slated to release sometime next year, but a new demo recently hit Steam if you're keen to check it out while we wait for a more concrete date. You've likely heard of Hyperlight Breaker by now, but if you somehow haven't, here's the deal. This is a follow-up to the highly acclaimed Hyperlight Drifter, but Breaker is doing a number of things differently. For one, it makes the move from 2D to 3D, but more importantly, it supports 3-player online co-op. Each player will get to make their own character and customize your loadout before you start a run. And if that wasn't enough, the game features an open world that changes between runs. Everything about this action roguelike sounds incredible, and luckily we've gotten some gameplay previews since it was announced early last year. The latest update confirmed the team at Heart Machine plans to release the game onto early access early next year, so yeah, this one is going pretty high on our priority list. Go-Go Town is one of the most unique games on this list, as it's a live sim game that sees you and a friend build and run a town in 2-player local and online co-op. You're in control of pretty much everything: road building, hiring staff, farming, and it's all wrapped up in a fun poppy art style. We've yet to see an in-depth look at how co-op will work, but man, I think this would be a really great genre for co-op play. It'd be really fun to split tasks in co-op, and I mean, Co-op Bros City, yeah, that would be pretty dope to see. The game was originally revealed early this year, but the release date remains as to be announced on Steam. There have been a couple playtests however, so hopefully we see a full demo soon. Criminals Within feels like if Disney made an original co-op game. It's an adventure title featuring 2-player local and online co-op, and similar to It Takes Two, Criminals Within is a co-op only game with no solo mode, meaning the whole game is built from the ground up to be great in co-op, in other words, music to my ears. Seems like the 2 characters specialize in different things, with one being better at melee while the other is good at range combat. Now, since Criminals Within was announced last year, we've yet to receive receive any concrete updates. The game was at PAX East earlier this year, and I did find an article claiming the game will be released in 2025. That wasn't an official confirmation from the developers, mind you, so hopefully we get that sometime next year. When the official description of your game reads, a 4-player co-op beat 'em up about a group of ninja cheerleaders from space, then yeah, you have my attention. Aside from the crazy premise of Rah Rah Boom, it's really the art style that caught my eye. I love this hand-drawn / comic book look, and all the effects in combat look freaking awesome. Each character looks really unique, and I like that there's an emphasis on range and melee weapons here. Rah Rah Boom was announced earlier this year, and after some digging, it seems like the game is slated to release sometime next year. So I started this video as Rotwood, and let me just say, if Rotwood is living rent-free in my brain, then Blight Survival is the landlord. Which is to say, man, I can't stop thinking about this game. Listen to this, Blight Survival is a 4-player online co-op action horror roguelite set in a medieval setting. I don't think you could describe a more perfect game for Andrew and I. This feels like The Last of Us meets Dark Souls meets that game with all the rats, and we're so here for that. So that's the good news. The bad news is, since Blight Survival was announced last year, we've gone a whole year without a single update. But you know, this looks so cool that I'm not even mad about it. Let the devs cook, just give us an update soon, please. And there you have it, 15 indie co-op games to put on your radar. Indie games are not only a hugely important part of the gaming industry, but they're also really important to us. I know I joked about some of these games ghosting us, but the reality is, it's not only really hard to make a game, but it often takes longer to make one with a smaller team. So one of the best things you can do is go wishlist any of these games on Steam. I can't stress how important it is to do this. It makes a huge difference to smaller dev teams, and it also ensures you'll be up to date with any news on the game. And if you're looking for some indie co-op games to play while you wait for these games to come out, then check out our 15 indie co-op games you've probably missed video. If you dig the video, make sure you do all the YouTube things like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials. That's all from me. We'll catch you next time on another episode of The Co-op Bros.